It's time once again for the Maple Grove City Report. I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks for joining us, along with Heidi Nelson, Maple Grove City Administrator. Welcome once again to the program.
Thank you.
Bonus today, we've got two meetings to talk about. A workshop that happened ahead of the council meeting on May 7th, and then the council meeting itself, about an hour and 20 minutes. And of course, a lot going on in the city of Maple Grove, so we'll bring you that towards the end of the program. Let's start with the workshop. There were a couple main items to the workshop. One happens to deal with community development. So give us a little background of the discussion, what came up at this meeting, and what will be the next steps.
Yeah, so we've talked about Dick Edwards retiring, community development director, long-serving with the city, retiring on May 31st. His celebration will be the afternoon of May 29th up at the Government Center, so folks are interested in visiting with Dick as he departs that afternoon. I think the program's scheduled around 3:30 or so. So we're looking forward to that event, but at the same time we're kind of trying to plan for what's the next steps with community development. As part of our March 10th planning session, there was a lot of discussion about how we staff community development today, wanting to take a look at, are we appropriately staffed? Are we hitting everything that we need to be doing? And in addition to that, we have a lot of master planning work that now that the comp plan is kind of wrapped up and out for distribution, we need to take the lead on some of this master planning work for some of the areas that are likely to develop in the next 3 to 5, 10 years. So the approach that we're taking here and what we discussed with council was to, in essence, kind of call a timeout here and take a step back, bring in a consulting firm to play that interim role of community development director, and then give us some time to really kind of take a look at the staffing and see what we need. Another aspect is, of course, the economic development component. So in a lot of cities, community development and economic development are within one department, kind of working together. Today, economic development lives in administration, and then community development is kind of a separate function. Clearly a lot of, joint efforts, that kind of thing. But I think we want to take a look at that aspect of it as well and think about kind of just organizational structure, and then do we need to add any staffing to make sure we're hitting on kind of some of that longer range planning and dealing with those issues. So council was supportive of that approach. So we will have a contract on the May 21st agenda with a consultant to both play that interim role and help us advance that master planning work. Likely, a 4 to 6 month period here as we work through those things, and then get after a recruitment kind of once we decide what that position needs to look like, and then what other positions we might want to consider to make sure that we're adequately staffed going forward. So that was the approach on that one, and the discussion. The other item was kind of revisiting this notion of having a bigger outdoor concert at Central Park. One kind of new item is that the Lions Club is stepping up to kind of maybe potentially be a partner in this event. So really it's the Visit Minneapolis Northwest, Miss City of Maple Grove, and now the Maple Grove Lions Club are thinking about stepping in to be a partner. So we're going to continue to work on that partnership with the Lions and what that might look like. And at this point, we're kind of thinking about maybe more of a fall 2019. So get going on the planning now, really looking to bring in kind of a headliner talent and create this venue at Central Park for concerts. So more to come on that, but more of an update for the council about kind of where we're headed with this concert idea.
Very good. So those were the two workshop items ahead of the regular council meeting. Let's jump to the council meeting on the 7th, again about an hour and 20 minutes long, and it started off with two retirement announcements, which we have known for a while that this might be happening, but it's always tough to see it on the agenda itself. Tell us about the two.
Yeah, so both Anne Marie Shanley, our Human Resources Director, and then Marilyn Arnland, one of our Deputy Fire Chiefs, are retiring, and both very long-serving staff at the city. Anne Marie's been with the city for about 20 years, and then also served in another city for about 15, 17 years before that. So she's had a long career, and Marilyn Arnland has been with the city for many years as well. I can't remember the exact number of years, but she's been with us throughout most of her career. So both long-serving employees, highly engaged in their departments and whatnot. So leave big shoes to fill, but I feel real good about kind of where we are as an organization and the work that we've done on kind of our succession planning efforts coming into the organization and looking at our workforce. About 25% of our employees were eligible to retire in the next 3 to 5 years. And That was almost 3 years ago. So we really knew that there's going to be a lot of transition, and we're no different than any other organization,
Right.
whether it's government or corporate. It's just kind of the aging of the workforce, and so we've tried to be planful about that and prepare so that when people walk out the door, there's people behind them that kind of have a good understanding of the work that's being done.
Right.
And that things are well documented to the extent that they can be. And of course, Anne Marie's led that effort to a great extent. So
Sure.
We're moving forward with recruitments for both of those positions. So they're up on our website if folks are interested. But yeah, we wish them both the best in their retirement, and then really thank them for their service to the city.
Certainly.
And, yeah, their dedication.
Great people.
Yes.
We'll mention the openings just a little bit later, and also some other openings that are happening at the city. Let's talk about the July 2nd meeting. Just a quick note that
Yep.
that meeting will not happen, which is normally the case at that time of the year.
Yeah, typically that week of the 4th of July, if the meeting falls during the holiday week, the council will take action to cancel that. So that July 2 meeting will not happen. So we'll meet, later in June and then again later in July.
Very good.
Yep.
A couple other items to pass along. There was a declaration as May 15th is Peace Officers Memorial Day, and also recognizing the week. Tell us a little bit about that background.
Yeah, so this is a kind of a federal declaration about Peace Officers Memorial Day and then Police Week. And so the day is May 15th, and then they do different things to honor the work of law enforcement the week of May 13th through the 19th. Our police department, of course, participates in this. There's an event down at St. Paul in the Capitol grounds, and we'll have representatives there. So just a nice week to, recognize the work of law enforcement in our communities.
Very good. One item on the consent agenda as well that we just wanted to pass along to keep you up to date on something that's happening down at the Capitol. There's been a lot of talk about the North Metro range, and
Yep.
there was some action taken by the council. Tell us what that action was.
Yeah, so we've been working on, we have a capital bonding request for an expansion of the North Metro range, and really it's a $4 million request, the total project about $8 million to expand, basically kind of doubling the capacity of that range. Today we serve about 20 partner agencies out of that facility. What was on the agenda on Monday evening was to extend our contract with the Hennepin County Sheriff's Department. So the Sheriff's Department utilizes that facility for training and for range purposes, and they're a great partner, and honestly, just the number of officers, the number of staff that we're serving out of that facility is really driving our desire to expand that and get some redundancy in our operations. So we're working on that still down at the Capitol. A couple, what are we, 10 days or 12 days away
Clock
from the
is
end of the
ticking.
session here. So we're looking forward to hopefully the Senate bonding bill coming out this week, and we'll see how we fared there, and we'll continue to push on that issue. But glad to have this extension with Hennepin County Sheriffs as well.
Very good. Let's move ahead to special business. A couple items here. One was a public hearing on the liquor license for Brick and Bourbon. Give
Yep.
us a little background on that and
Yeah.
how that moves ahead.
Yeah, so this is Brick and Bourbon. They're taking the former Don Pablo site. If you've been by, you see a lot of activity happening there. They're doing quite a bit of internal remodeling to the space. They're also going to be coming forward with to construct a pretty significant outdoor patio to the space.
Okay.
So we'll see that come forward to Planning Commission and Council in coming weeks. But this was for their liquor license, so that one got approved, and they're looking probably to do like a late June opening. They'll probably open before they have all the patio pieces completed, but certainly the indoor space will be done, and they're looking to get going end of June.
Very good.
Yep.
Let's move down to the southwest corner of the city. We've talked before about that southwest crossroads and the development happening there, and some work on a vacation of a drainage and utility easement. So just some cleanup work, I take it?
Yep, cleanup work. We're kind of moving where some of the utilities are and whatnot, but this is on that southwest corner of County Road 101 and Bass Lake Road there. So this is for the Cal Atlantic Townhome Project, is kind of what's driving some of these utility relocations and getting some new easements set that were, of course, set with the plat, so it causes us to go back and vacate the old things where things were thought to be. So likely to see some activity on that site in the coming weeks.
All right, so
Yep.
look for digging in the ground in that area. Community development items. One is the comp plan. We've talked plenty about that, and it's nice to see that it's taking the next step. Where is it going now?
Yeah, so on Monday night, the council approved sending the comp plan out for distribution, and this is to our adjacent and affected jurisdictions, so our neighboring communities and then other jurisdictions that are, involved with the work that we do here at the city. Great to see this get underway, get that review underway. This has been a big effort on the part of staff really over the last 18 months. It's a pretty lengthy process. So huge, huge thanks goes out to Dick Edwards and Peter Vickerman in planning, Ken Ashfeld and his team in engineering and public works, and then Chuck Stifter over with the park board on the park system plan update. Right. So lots of effort put into this, and now we're kind of in that next step where it goes out for comment. We'll get those comments back and respond to those, and then we have to have this wrapped up by December of this year. So we're hoping we'll meet that deadline. I'm sure that we will.
Good.
But yeah, this is a pretty big milestone for the staff to get this out the door.
Congratulations on the work so far. A couple other development items to pass along. Tell us about Copper Creek of Nottingham. What is happening there?
Yeah, so this is a kind of a infill little piece development that is down off of Nottingham Parkway, 9-lot subdivision. It was ghost platted into that area when that whole area was platted, so we knew that this would eventually come to be someday. So some issue, there's a lot of trees and there's some water, stormwater issues back in there. We're kind of tucking things in, but I think we worked through most of those issues, and they're going to work to save, the trees as best that they can, and then they have a pretty significant replanting plan. So this one was for development stage, plan approval, and final plat. So we'll see 9 new lots down there, Copper Creek at Nottingham.
Next item under community development, a smaller one, but not to the homeowner, and it's actually something that looks like the council is going to take a further look at. Tell us about this variance that occurred at the meeting and the discussion that ensued.
Yeah, so this is a property located up off a Territorial Road, kind of east of Fernbrook. Single-family residence, but a larger lot, about a 4-acre lot, and the homeowner was looking to build kind of a larger outbuilding. So it exceeded the current code provisions by both square footage and height. So that's why the variance was requested. The variance was denied because of the code language that exists, but the council did express some openness to looking at the code on some of these larger lots and, with outbuildings and whatnot, what's an appropriate standard. So we'll likely see that code discussion come forward again in the coming weeks. All
right, back to some more regular development items. TRICARE, 3rd edition. This is going to be up by County Road 30 area. What type of business is coming? Yeah, so this is kind of tucked in behind Menards, their lumberyard part, kind of on the west side of their building. Right. This is an Aber Auto Care business, and this came through as just a concept plan. I think we just wanted to make sure that that use there was appropriate and that people were comfortable with that. We visited some of their sites around the metro area. They do a nice job of kind of a lot of the vehicles, of course, are stored inside the building, but they also do a nice job of screening, and so we'll see that as we come to the development stage, make sure from an architectural perspective we're comfortable, and then that the site is appropriately screened and for the use. So this one gained concept plan approval on Monday evening then. Very good. Yep. And Wings Financial is before the council talking about a building in the Village area, correct? Yeah, Village Arbor Lakes. So this is on the southern commercial side. Wings Financial Credit Union, they had we knew they were kind of poking around. They've been looking for a site here in Maple Grove for probably a couple, 2-3 years, and I think feel like they landed in the right spot. I think it'll be a nice addition. Some nice architecture to this one. They stated that they have over 2,000 customers here in Maple Grove, and currently their only locations closest to Maple Grove are Brooklyn Center or Plymouth, so folks have to drive quite a ways to access those services there. So some looking at the traffic and kind of circulation around kind of the teller and the ATM type spaces, but I think our traffic engineers felt like they worked through that pretty well, but we also have some provisions in there that if things become a problem, we're going to have to kind of take another look at that. But this one did get development stage plan and then preliminary and final plat approval on Monday evening. Very good. Look ahead at some community development items as well, and we talked a little bit about Brick and Bourbon. Again, outdoor patio may be coming before the council soon. How about Crave? A little update there. They're going to add a little extra area, it sounds like. Yeah, just about 600 square feet on kind of the west side of the building. They're looking to add kind of an enclosed patio area back there. So just a little bit of an addition to their dining seating area. Very good. Yep. And the shops. There's some talk at the shops about possibly redoing an area that's been used for concerts and other events to some parking, but maybe still concerts. Tell us how they're thinking this might work. Yeah, so they came to us wanting to kind of repurpose that area that
that's in the middle there, that's kind of that plaza area. I think they've really struggled with vacancies in that internal space, and they have had a lot of really great feedback to the change to the diagonal parking throughout that area. So they are seeking to kind of repurpose that internal area and make it, a street connection parking during most of the time, but then design it in such a way that when they have events, they can easily close that off, and that the streetscape makes sense, and there's seating and those kinds of things, removable bollards, so you're not putting up barricades, that kind of thing. It really does look like an event space. So, one of our goals was to, make sure we're working with our retailers and being flexible. This is a pretty big change, and kind of lets go of some of that kind of lifestyle center components. So I think there'll probably be a lot of discussion about this one as it comes forward, but I think from a staff perspective, we've really encouraged them to, to the extent possible as you come forward, hang on to those things that make that really, that kind of that placemaking there. So the seating and the lighting and those bollards being there to kind of create that event space if this should gain approval. So we'll see how the Planning Commission and Council react to this one, but I think this is just kind of a little bit of a sign of the times with the retail industry.
Okay, we'll keep you up to date on that as it moves ahead. Few items from Public Works and Engineering to pass along. Street reconstruction time is here. Finally, it's nice outside, so they're getting out there. Where is the project roughly this year?
Yeah, we have 3 projects. They're kind of scattered around the city a bit this year. This is the first one that got going, and then the others will kind of come behind that, a couple up in the north and one in the southwest. So we'll see activity on those throughout the summer months, and hopefully not too much disruption. Hopefully we'll have good construction weather. And then they've been out doing street sweeping and flushing, and you'll see our crews out doing kind of, crack fill and patching, kind of clean up from the winter months as well.
All those things they've been waiting for about a month here when they thought they'd be doing it. And a few of your updates, one of the main updates there was a presentation of the 2018 through 20 goals. And I know you've been putting a lot of work into this. It goes back to March, I believe, and some meetings there. Tell us what the goals ended up being. What are the big 5, if you will? Yeah,
so March 10th, the council and staff had a planning session, and we reviewed kind of where we had been on the last set of goals and what we had accomplished. And we did some pre-work to that session to kind of understand what was on people's minds and what they felt like needed to be addressed going forward. So coming out of that, we established kind of 5 priority areas to address, and this is the time period from 2018 to 2020. So those are enhanced business retention, expansion, and recruitment programs, redevelopment, reuse opportunities, and retail vitality. So this is kind of speaking to that, what happens with our retail spaces and how do we work with retail as how it goes forward. Advanced master planning and for remaining undeveloped areas. So this is kind of related to that whole community development piece. And now that the comp plan is kind of wrapped up, how are we advancing that master planning for some of those areas where we are likely to see development kind of in the next 3 to 5 years? A lot of discussion around the mix of how, the housing mix and housing needs. So some study there. I think we've seen a lot of apartments built in the last few years, and so the council's kind of expressed some need to understand, where does this market go? Does it, how long does it run here? And what is the appropriate number of apartment units we want to, have available in Maple Grove? Explore future facility and programming needs for the community center. So one of the pieces that came out of the park system plan update was to take a look at there were a number of things in that report, but I think one that resonated and kind of rose to the top for the council was really taking a look at the community center. Number of things at play there. What's the future with Lifetime Fitness? What are their future plans here in the community? We have those 2 lots at the end of the east end of that campus that the city owns. What's the future of those pieces of land and what uses might go there? We've had a number of groups requesting, to work with the city on space, whether it's for additional ice for the Hockey Association. We have the Arts Center concept circling. the seniors space is kind of busting at the seams.
Sure.
There's just a number of aspects that I think the council really focused in on. We need to do some master planning and think about what does that community center really look like for the next 20 years. So that will be a priority item. And then the last one, to address organizational staffing and succession planning. So it gets back to this issue of 25% of our workforce retiring in the next 3 to 5 years, and how are we planning for that? And then the other piece, kind of taking a deeper dive on the community development staffing. So we're going to start digging in on these goals and the work plan associated with them, and then we'll be updating the council as we go forward, and probably in about 18 to 24 months we'll come back together and revisit it again.
Very good. All right, lots of hard work. We'll keep you up to date as those goals move along. One final item from the council meeting on the 7th was just to mention that the Board of Appeal process is underway. Phase 1 has occurred, Phase 2 coming?
Yeah, tomorrow night, Thursday, May 10th at 7 p.m. we'll have the reconvene of the Board of Appeal. So this is, all the properties that came forward in late April and presented their request of their property value kind of looked at. Those are coming forward now for the council to make a decision about those property values. Post this meeting, residents always have an opportunity to go to Hennepin County. Hennepin County has a process after that, and that's kind of the final arbiter of that value. So we'll reconvene 7 o'clock tomorrow night, and council has all the staff, the assessing staff has been real busy since the last time, and they've been assembling information on the background of those properties. So should be a good meeting, and get that process underway and over to the county.
Very good. Well, that wraps up the meeting from the 7th. Again, about an hour and 20 minutes. There's your quick update of what went on. We've got a few items to pass along in our closing minutes here about what's going on in the city. Heidi's mentioned the flushing of the water mains going on throughout the city, and the city does a great job of updating people on the website and also Facebook with some maps. So be looking for that information. We mentioned job openings. Give us a little more insight into even a few more job openings at the city. Yeah,
so we have water and sewer maintenance, one position in our utility division that's open. That application process is open through May 18th. And then, of course, the 2 retirements that I mentioned, and human resources director, that's open through May 30th, and deputy fire chief, that one's open through May 31st. So lots of job opportunities on our website available.
Very good.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about things happening outside and opportunities for residents to get involved with trees and also with planting. Let's talk trees first. How can we help out?
So we're seeking residents to become tree stewards, and that is really folks that just have a love of trees and love of being outside and an interest in volunteering. We provide free training with sessions in May and July at our Public Works facility, and so it provides information about planting, pruning, watering, and then identifying tree diseases and pests. So can call Marilyn for now until the end of June. 494-6091 is her direct dial, or if you just give a call up to City Hall, they'd be happy to connect you there. On May 23rd, we have our Boulevard Planting event, and a lot of different community organizations get involved with this. It's Wednesday, May 23rd from 9 to 1. And then if you want to participate in that, you can register on the Maple Grove Parks and Recreation site, has information about that.
All right. Yep. For those watching us here in the beginning of May, this next one's going to be fast, active, but rest assured there's more coming. The Farmers Market. Last time indoors, and then we're heading outside. Give us those dates.
Yeah, so last indoor market Thursday, May 10th, which is tomorrow night. Hours are from 3 to 7. Lots of great things available, even though we're kind of advanced, not quite into the growing season quite yet. But plans are coming together for the 15th outdoor market season. And so starting June 7th, we'll be outdoors every Thursday from 3 to 7. So looking forward to a great summer market. And I know our Kristen and our market manager, she's been working on getting some new vendors for this year too, so it should be a good season.
Yeah, always an exciting time.
Yep.
Get your calendars out for some dates coming up here in the end of May and even into June with some great community events. The first we've talked about a few times, but want to keep it in front of you. That's the Community Forum on a Race.
Yep.
Give us a little background of what this is and why people should attend.
Yeah, so this is the 5th annual Community Forum on Race, and it'll take place Saturday, May 19th. This year it's going to be here in Maple Grove at the Community Center, 11 to 2:30. A light lunch is served. served. We do ask that you register so we know how many people are coming, but there's no fee associated with attending the event. Open to all community members. It's just really a great venue. There's a keynote speaker and then some breakout session discussions. Just a great opportunity to put some context to talking about the issue of race in our community. And then there'll be some local community organizations there to talk about topics of interest, whether it's housing, immigration, public safety, civic engagement, transportation, education, just kind of trying to focus on some of those issues that affect our community members. And so we encourage people to attend. And this is the second year, of course, that Maple Grove has been a sponsor of this event. So we're happy to have it here in town this year.
Wonderful event.
Yep.
Next is up for the seniors here. We want to keep you safe in town, and there's a event coming up, a symposium to talk about safety. Tell us who should attend this and when it happens.
Yeah, so this is the Senior Safety Symposium, Thursday, June 14th, kind of an all-day event, 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at the Community Center. This one we do need you to register for, and it fills up pretty fast. So if you're thinking about coming, I'd give a call pretty quick. The cost is $10 per person, but you get a lot for that $10. It includes breakfast and lunch and lots of giveaways and whatnot. And this is, of course, an event that's organized by Marilyn Arnland. So this is kind of her last Senior Safety Symposium, and so a special year for Marilyn to do this. But we encourage seniors in the community to get out and attend this event. And you can give a call, 494-6300. And of course, there's information available on our website as well.
Back to May 19th. Now the Community Forum on Race happens in the afternoon, but in the morning you might want to head over to the Child Safety Fair. So for the young ones in town, here's an opportunity, but not at the community center. It is where?
It's up at the M Health building off of 99th there, kind of up by Target and the high school. So this is Saturday, May 19th from 9 to noon. And there's a host of activities about keeping kids safe in the community and healthy too. So there's the Teddy Bear Clinic, Kids ID Child Safety Program, lots to do with bike helmets and bike inspections, car safety seat inspections and education. Police and fire will be on hand with some displays and whatnot. So this is a free event. We encourage people to come, and again, up at the M Health building. And then if there's weather concerns, they have some internal spaces inside the building that they move the event to.
So mark it down on your calendar in pen, because it is going to happen.
It
is. It is a great event for the community. Great, Heidi. Well, we got through it all. Thank you very much for your time again today. Let's leave you with some information you might need to look for more about what we've talked about or things coming up in Maple Grove. You see the website at the top of the screen, maplegrovemn.gov. Next meeting is on Monday, May 21st, 7:30 at the Government Center. And the phone number down below. And again, we've given you some special phone numbers to individual departments for some of the events coming up. And our viewer response line here, 533-1710. Comments or questions about the program, certainly do give us a call. For Heidi Nelson, I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks again for joining us.